Okay guys, so I know I'm not here with you today, but we need to go over the different kinds of ways that we can display data, okay? In fact, there are 3 types of ways to display a list of data. Okay. We could have a dot plot, a box plot, or a histogram. Okay. Now, each one is going to give us a different kind of overarching view of these things, of our data. Okay. So a dot plot, we'll talk about that first. Okay. That's when we can see individual pieces of data. We can tell how often or how frequent each number occurs. And it's a clear representation of the mode, okay? Remember, the mode is the number that happens most frequently, all right? So if we take a look at this graph here, we've got the weights of chickens in the hen house, okay, in ounces. And we've got 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22. Those are different data points. There are different weights, okay? Now, each of these dots represents another chicken here, okay? So what we need in order to create it, and also if we're given it, what we can take from it is our data points, okay? Specifically, how we read a dot plot, okay, is it tells us our frequency. So 10, there are only 1 chicken that weighs 10 ounces. So we can list our data. Okay, so we've got 1 chicken that's 10. We've got 2 chickens that are 12 ounces. We've got 3 chickens that are 14. We've got 4 that are 16. Notice that one happens the most often. It has the most dots on it. Okay, we've got 3 that are 18. Two that are 20 ounces. And 1 that's 22. Okay, from this now list of data, we can get our 5-number summary, which is what you guys learned about yesterday. Okay, that's our mean, our minimum, our median, our maximum, and our quartiles, quartile 1 and quartile 3. Okay, now that we've got this list like this, we could plug it into our calculator. In fact, we could plug it into list 1 and we could get all of that extra data. Okay, now another way that we could display data is a box plot. And a box plot shows us very clearly our 5-number summary, okay? The smallest number here is our minimum. And the biggest number here is our maximum. The min and the max, these little parts here, those are what we call the whiskers. Okay, it's called a box and whisker plot. Okay, right in the middle, so the middle part of the data is our median. That's our middle number. Okay, which leaves out of our 5-number summary, we've got our minimum, our median, and our maximum. That leaves our quartile 1 and our quartile 3. And notice it just goes all in a row here. Okay. So we could tell from here our minimum is 2. Our quartile 1 is 4. Our median is 7. Our quartile 3 is 11. And our maximum is 12. Okay? It does not tell me the mean number, and it does not tell me the mode. okay? We cannot see individual pieces of data here. We don't know how many times 2 occurred or how many times 11 occurred, okay? It does not tell us individual pieces of data. Okay, now our range, remember that's our max minus our min. So our max is going to be 12. Our minimum is 2. So our range is 10. The interquartile range is just the difference between the 2 quartiles. So that's going to be Q3 minus Q1. Q3 is 11. Q1 is 4. So 11 minus 4 gives us 7. That's our interquartile range, okay? Also known as IQR. You'll see me do that sometimes. All right, our next display of data is called a histogram, okay? And a histogram shows us the frequency of our intervals. So it's listed as intervals, which means we do not see individual pieces of data, okay? What this does give us, though, is it's going to tell us our frequency list, okay? So I'm going to make a little table, our interval and our frequency. So my first interval is 0 to 5, and that's got a frequency of 1. My next interval is 6 to 11. Notice how these don't overlap. Otherwise, you wouldn't know which, like if number 5, if it went 0 to 5 and then 5 to 11, we wouldn't know where to put 5 or how many times we should count 5. So since we only want to count it once, it's got to be in only one interval. Okay, 6 to 11's got a frequency of 3. 12 to 17 has a frequency of 5. 18 through 23 has a frequency of 4. And finally, 24 to 29 has a frequency of 2. Okay, so this side here tells us our frequency, or the number of something. Okay, so what we're going to do next is go through 2 examples, and then you're going to do one on your own. And we're going to make a dot plot, a box plot, and a histogram for each of these. All right, so our first example here says 26 car owners were asked the age of their cars in years. The table below represents the data collected. Okay, now this is just one way that we could see a list of all of these numbers. All right, and what I like to do is to rewrite the numbers in numerical order. Okay, so the smallest number that I see as I go through here is 1. And I only see it happening once. So I'm just going to rewrite the numbers in numerical order, and I'm going to cross off as I go. So the next highest number I see is 2. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2s. Okay, then I keep going. All right, do this with me. I see 1 3. I see 1 2 4s. The next number I see is 5, and I see 1 2 2 5s. How many 6s? 1 2 3. How many 7s? We got 1 2 3. So I like to cross off as I go so I don't repeat anything. So now I got 8. So there's 1 2 3 4 5 6. Oh, 6 8s. 4 5 6. I've got 1 9 and 2 10s. And now I can see I've got them all checked off. Okay. Some of you guys were asking yesterday about the mode And how do we tell the mode? Because our calculator doesn't tell us the mode. Okay, what we have to do is, and this is why I like to put them in numerical order, is because I can see that I've got a lot of 8s. In fact, I've got 6 8s. And that's the most for any number. The next highest number in frequency is 2, and there's 5 of them. So I know right now that my mode is 8. Okay. Next thing we want to do is to calculate the following. All right, so we're going to get our calculators. We're going to go, this we might have forgotten from yesterday, stat, edit. And we're going to just type in all of our numbers. So 1, 2, 2. That's 4, 5 2s, a 3, 2 4s, 2 5s, 3 6s, and 3 7s, 6 8s, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 9, and 2 10s. Now that's a lot of numbers, okay, but we know that we've got 26 cars. So what's good is if you go up 1 to your last number, take a look right here. It says L1, and then in parentheses it says 26. Okay, that means that we've got 26 entries, or 26 numbers. Okay, next thing we're going to do, so to get all of these things, we're going to press Stat, go over to Calc, and we want one variable statistics. Okay, we don't have a frequency list, so we're going to go straight to Calculate. Okay, now here are all those symbols that we learned yesterday. And we're going to round to the nearest 10th. So our mean is X bar, that's what we call it. And I'm going to round that to 5.7. My standard deviation is this looking thing. It's called actually a sigma. And that is, rounded to the nearest 10th, is 2.7. My mode is 8, because remember that's the one we had to do on our own. And then I'm going to scroll down, and here I'm going to get my 5-number summary. So starting with min, there's Q1, median, Q3, and max. So I got 1, 3, 6, 8, and 10. Okay. And now we got to do a little bit of math on our own here. Okay, our range is the max minus the min. So that's going to be 10 minus 1, and that equals 9. So my range is 9. My interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. Okay, and Q3 was 8. Q1 is 3, so 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay, we don't need our calculators anymore. All right, so now we're ready to make our different things. Okay, so first off is a dot plot. And we want to go from our minimum, which is 1, all the way to our maximum, which is 10. Okay, and now we've got every single number listed here, so I'm going to make a mark for each one. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're just going to make a dot every single time that one of these things happens. Okay, so 1, the frequency of 1 is 1. So I'm going to only put 1 dot there. Then I move on. 2 has got 5 of them, so I'm going to make 5 dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 has just got 1. 4 has 2. 5 has 2. 6 has 3. And so does 7. 8, there are 6 of them. So we'll make 6 dots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9 has only got 1, and 10 has got 2. Okay. Notice that 8 has the most. It's the highest one. And that's a dot plot. Just as easy as that. Okay. All right, the next thing we're going to create is a box plot. And we're gonna go from, I'm going to go from 0 to 10 here. So 0 to 10. Halfway between is 5, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And a box plot, we need our 5-number summary. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with the minimum. So the minimum is 1, and I'm going to draw kind of a line all the way up here. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw lines here, and then I'll create the box and the whiskers. Okay, next up, my number is 3, so I'm going to draw another line at 3. Then I've got 6. Notice these are all the same height and the same like distance away from this number line. Quartile 3 is 8. And then my maximum is 10. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to box in the middle 3. And then add my whiskers to the outside ones. All right. Okay, and now let's create a histogram. Okay, so now for a histogram, we need that frequency table, or that interval frequency. So I'm going to make a quick little table here. And since I'm only going from 1 to 10, I'm going to have intervals of 2. All right, so I'm going to go from 1 to 2, because that's number 1 and 2. I can't overlap 2, so my next number is 3. And I'm going to go 3 to 4. Can't overlap 4, so my next number is 5 to 6, 7 to 8, and 9 to 10. And now I haven't included all of my numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, and now we're going to count up all of the 1s and the 2s. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1s and 2s. Now we'll count up the 3s and the 4s. So 1, 2, 3, only 3 of those. 5 and 6, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 7 and 8, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then finally 9 and 10, there's only 3. Okay, now when we're making our histogram, we have to do those intervals as our x-axis. Okay, and so I'm going to start at 1, and I'm just going to kind of make, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 bars that I need to make. So here's 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, and 9 to 10. Okay, we don't want any gaps. Okay, now I know that there's a gap between 0 and 1, but we don't have any numbers between 0 and 1, so we're just going to leave it as is. Okay, and now my frequency, my y-axis, I got to go all the way up to 9. So I'm going to go by ones. I'm going to actually just go up to 10. Cut that in half is 5, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we're just going to make our bars. So 1 to 2 should go all the way up to 6. Three to 4 goes up to 3. 5 to 6, there's 5 of them, so that's going to go all the way up to 5 here. We could use a ruler if we wanted to, but that's all right. And 9, we're going to approximate, is about there. And then 9 and 10, there are 3. Okay. So I kind of like to write them on top. 6, 3, 5, 9, and 3. Okay, so for one set of data, we got all three displays. A dot plot with dots, a box plot with boxes, and then a histogram with no gaps and with number ranges or intervals. Okay, so let's try that again. We'll go a little bit faster this time. Okay, so we've got the scores on mathematics tests were 70, 55, 65, 80, 85, 75, 65, 40, 75, 65, and 85. Okay, again, I'm going to start off by just rewriting these in numerical order. Okay. All right. Now, the next thing we got to do is calculate our following things. So we're going to need our calculators again. Okay, go back into Stat, Edit. Remember to clear it out, go up to List 1, press Clear and Enter. And let's go ahead and type in our data. Go ahead and pause if you need to go a little bit slower. Okay, and this tells me that I should have 11 numbers, so let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, I got them all. All right, and then we're going to go Stat, over to Calculate, one variable statistics, go down to Calculate and press Enter. Okay. So we've got our mean is 69.1. I like always to round to the nearest tenth. Our standard deviation is 12.8. Our mode, we can't tell from the calculator, so we need to look at what number happens the most often. And it looks like we've got 65 happens 3 times, 75 happens twice, 85 happens twice. So 65 is the one that happens the most often. 65 happens the most often. All right, and then I go back to my calculator, and I'm going for my 5-number summary. So I've got 40. Q1 is 65. Median is 70. Q3 is 80. And maximum is 85. Okay. Remember, the range is the max minus the min, which is 85 minus 40. So I've got a range of 45. Okay, my interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1, or 80 minus 65. Which is 15. Okay. All right. Now let's make our dot plot. So our dot plot has got to go from 40 all the way to 85. What's nice is that these are all multiples of 5. So I'm going to go from 40 to 85, and I'm just going to go by 10s, or by 5s, I mean. Oh, kind of ran out of room here. Uh-oh. That's okay. All right, and I've got 140. I've got 155. I've got 3 65s. I've got 170, 2 75s, 180, and 2 85s. And there's a dot plot. Okay. Up next, I need a box plot. So I'm going to, again, go from 40 to 85. And this time maybe I'll space it a little bit better. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that looks much better. All right, and I'm going my 5 number summary here. And remember, I'm just going to draw a line at each one. So 40 is my first one, then not again until 65, and then again at 70, one more time at 80, and my 5th line for the 5 number summary is at 85. Okay, now remember, my 3 inside ones get boxed in. And then I need to draw my whiskers to my outside numbers, my min and my max. And there's our box plot. All right, up next is our histogram. So we're going to need our intervals. And we're going to need the frequency of those intervals. Okay, and so I'm going from 40 to 85. I'm going to go up by 20s. Basically, I'm going from 40 to maybe about 100. So I'm going to go from 40 up to 20 is 60, but I don't want to get all the way to 60. So I'm going to go 40 to 59, because then I can go 60 to 79, and then 70 to 89. And that's all I need, because I am not going past 89. Oh, I messed that up. I should be going from 80 to 99. There we go. Because otherwise I had 70 all the way to 79 included in both of those. Okay, and now I'm good. So between 40 and 59, there are 2 numbers. Between 60 and 79, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. Between 80 and 99, there are 3. Okay, so I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but really my highest frequency is 6. All right. Now, since I'm jumping all the way from 0 to 40, I need to make a little broken line here. Okay. And I've got 3 intervals, so I'm going from here to here to here to here. So 1, 2, and 3. So 40 to 59, 60 to 79, and 80 to 99. And then I'm just going to make it a height of whatever the frequency is. So that's got a height of 2 because the frequency is 2. 60 to 79 goes all the way up to 6 because it's got a frequency of 6. And then 80 to 99 is 3. Okay. And there's that. All right, guys. You've got approximately maybe about 10-15 minutes left of class. All right. I want you to give our next example a try. Okay. Now notice I've kind of given you some help here by making these number lines for you, including what the intervals should be. Notice I've got that broken line graph here. All right. So you've got to do the work now. All right? All right, good luck.